teachers. We are CARE.
Good morning. On behalf of CARE, or Central California Alliance for the Restoration of Estuaries, we would like to thank you for your time. I am Cristina Lopez, and I am an environmental science professor at UC Berkeley.
I'm Christian Rivas, and I am a wildlife expert at for the Environmental Protection Agency.
And I'm Ayala Guerra, hydrologist from the Environmental Protection Agency.
Hi, my name is Justin Sale, and I'm a member of the Union of Concerned Scientists as a soil specialist.
Good afternoon. My name is Carlos Barrera, and I am a forester for the National Association of State Foresters.
Every month, my team and I get together to discuss the problems within the estuary and to try to solve them. We know the importance of estuaries to everyone and everything. They are home for many unique and diverse species of plants and are the nurseries of many migratory birds. Estuaries also help our economy by providing interesting sites where people go to fish, bird watch, and do other recreational activities. Our team has been notified that a nuclear power plant is being planned to be built in the San Francisco estuary. Nuclear power plants are built all over the world to make energy so cities can function properly. These nuclear plants may seem like a good way to create energy because they don't dispense carbon dioxide like coal plants, but they cause more damage than anything. The building of more nuclear power plants is a very controversial topic for our planet. Each power plant releases a high level of low radiation, which is very toxic for the environment the plant is built by. With time, those gases transform that environment into a toxic chamber of pure radiation and waste. The peaceful life that is maintained in an estuary, with its wonderful habitat and its humble creatures, would be severely altered. An estuary would never be the same if this were to occur. That is why we have been thinking of possibilities so that this project will have a minimal effect on the estuarine environment.
The waste from nuclear power plants do serious damage to the water from estuaries. In order to understand this damage it has on the estuary, we have to understand how the damage is created. This process begins with the usage of uranium as a chemical source of heat. Uranium is then split and put into the nuclear reactor where a neutron is blasted through it, creating a fission chain reaction. The entire process creates heat, which in turn heats a water tank that makes steam to power a generator, eventually creating energy. Once this process is completed, there is radioactive water left over, and it is either used or reused for the energy creating process or dumped. Most of the time the water is reused, but once there is an excess of water, it has to be discharged. If water is dumped into an estuary, its temperature will begin to skyrocket exponentially because of the radiation. With the increase in temperature, it will be extremely difficult for organisms to adapt and survive. The plant won't just heat up the estuary by its waste dumping, but also with the use of estuary water to cool down the reactors thanks to the release of low-level radiation. Nuclear plants would ruin estuaries with the heat released from it. Because of the sudden increase in water temperature in an estuary, it will be difficult for animals and organisms to survive. A lot of the fish from an estuary thrive on the cool water it provides to survive. With an increase of about 25 degrees from the waste while other dumping, the fish will soon begin to die out. Some will die a quick, painless death, while others will see death as a remedy for a wretched life. Plants like the giant kelp, seagrass, and mangroves would experience severe mutations and would die from the excess heat. Many commercial fish like the California halibut, herring, the bay shrimp, white croaker, and the groundfish would also die thanks to the exposure of low-level radiation released from the plants, thus affecting the economy. If we want to maintain a good amount of money intake coming from estuaries, it would be smart not to put a nuclear power plant near one.
As a hydrologist, I apply scientific knowledge and mathematical principles to solve water-related problems. In society, problems of quality, quantity, and availability. I'm here today to speak of estuaries, which me and my team are currently working on. Estuaries have been home to many plants and animals who like to live in water that is part fresh and part salty. They help protect water quality by filtering out dirt and pollutants, but unfortunately, there are many factors that are produced by nuclear power plants that are affecting estuaries such as the San Francisco Bay Estuary. Nuclear power is produced by controlled nuclear reactions. Commercial and utility plants currently use nuclear fission reactors to heat water to produce steam, which is then used to generate electricity. The generation of electricity causes thermal pollution, which is the increase in a stream, lake, or an ocean due to heated water discharge. When heat from nuclear fuel turns water into steam, it must be cooled by circulating cool water next to the hot steam. The cool water increases temperatures from 5 to 10 degrees Celsius or 9 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and then dumped back into the water body where it came from. This creates direct thermal shock, changes in dissolved oxygen, and redistribution of organisms in local community. Small changes in temperature affect reproductive systems of organisms and they become prone to diseases. Cool water contains more oxygen and heating it lowers the oxygen carrying capacity in water. In addition, raising the water temperature increases the decomposition rate of organic matter in water, which also decreases dissolved oxygen. Also, organisms will leave in search for a cooler body of water, and if they don't find this body of water, they will eventually die.
As a soil specialist, let me tell you that I'm aware of the many problems posed on soil by a power plant. The sandy bottom of the San Francisco Bay supports 90% of soil life. The worms, clams, and other small species, along with the bacteria and fungi that depend on soils, attract and feed many bottom-dwelling species in the estuary, such as sharks and small fish. If the nuclear power plant were to be carried out, there's a possibility of chemical pollution, both of radioactive and toxic waste that would be exposed to soil and can even reach the groundwater. And in recognition of this problem, the Soil Resource and Conservation Act should be taken into consideration to meet these demands. Also, in the 5 to 7 year production of nuclear power plant can also put a strain on soil as power lines, road connections, water cooling structures, and building work take place. This production of a nuclear power plant requires much land degradation, affecting flora and fauna and other species that rely on the soil habitat. Placing a power plant in this area poses a large risk to the soils and organisms that depend on it. And Louis Braunfeld warned, as soils are depleted, human health, vitality, and intelligence go with them.
With increasing needs of source of power for mankind, man has turned to the idea of building a nuclear power plant in upriver of the San Francisco estuary. As a forester, I object to the construction of a nuclear power plant. Why, you might ask yourself? As you have heard from our soils, wildlife, and aquatic experts, the nuclear power plant has a negative effect on the ecosystem. As for plants and trees, the construction of a nuclear power plant is spread through a large region of land. What this does to the plants and trees is that it kills them over the vastly large region in which the nuclear power plant is to be set upon. The importance of trees and plants is that it gives and sustains life. They provide food for wildlife. Take, for example, wild berries can be eaten by bears and many species of birds. And even after death, they provide food as detritus, which is dead plant organisms, to plankton and many crustaceans. As Stuart Bierbaum once said, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. If trees are so important to life on Earth, there is no eligible reason why they should be cut down. Trees are the ones that give us life, absorbing carbon dioxide and in return, giving us oxygen. The construction of a nuclear power plant would be the cause to our demise. Nuclear power plants will take more than what they will give. unlike trees that give more than what they will take.
As you can see, a nuclear power plant will cause hazardous damage to the estuary. It will cause thermal and chemical pollution in the water as well as the soil, lowering the biodiversity, and it will have a tremendous amount of area consumption. We believe that the best solution for this problem is not to build the nuclear power plant, and instead to put solar panels in the roofs of homes, which will get us 40% of the energy that the nuclear power plant would have given. Installing windmills close by, which will produce another 40% of the energy. And the remaining 20% will come from influencing people to conserve energy, such as using fluorescent light bulbs. By using these methods of energy conservation, the estuary will be in no need for a nuclear power plant. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.